And it's me. What a surprise. It's an honor for me to give you some updates for today on the OPC Foundation about open, secured industrial interoperability. It is not a basic introduction into the technology. If we have this OPC Day International once a year, I want to give just a short introduction in case there are completely new people here connected to this conference, but then I want to give an update on what's new and where we are going and what is the direction of the OPC Foundation. So let's start quickly on the agenda for today. I give just a very short introduction on the OPC Foundation itself, but then talking more about the promise of the secured semantic industrial interoperability, which is based on three pillars: the OPCUA technology. I'm just shortly covering security. Second, I'm talking about OPC Field to give you an introduction, talking a little bit more about OPC Cloud Initiative, on our collaborations, certification, and also further activities on the rest of this year. So enjoy the time here. Short update: the OPC Foundation is a global, international organization. We are delivering a standard called OPCUA. It is an IEC standard, IEC 62541, and this standard is all about to make sure that we have a secure, reliable interoperability platform which allows to exchange standardized information independent from any vendor, independent from the platform, from the operating system platform, from implementation languages or the domain. So it's completely agnostic for vendors, platforms, domains. And it scales. It scales from a super small sensor up into the IT and cloud and beyond. The deliverables, what we do, we are really delivering openness. Openness is what we breathe. The OPC, the O from OPC stands for openness. So all specifications, once they are released, are available free of charge to be downloaded. You just have to register on the OPC Foundation web. We provide sample code on GitHub, which you can download, play around, get first experience. We provide a great certification program to increase the quality of your products. Also, you don't have to be, you don't have to be a paying member of the OPC Foundation. You can go with your product to the lab, increase quality, pay your fee, obviously, your daily fee for the testing, but that's it. Overall, we believe that OPC Foundation is the world's largest ecosystem, including toolkits, education, universities with academic programs and so on around the globe for the field of industrial interoperability. And we are proud to have really modern IPR policy protecting not only the members but also all implementers. Status of today, this morning, we have 866 members. We are constantly growing also in the area of the pandemic. And that's great. The board of directors are elected every year. Half of the board members are elected. And you see there has been a change. The members of the OPC Foundation elected a representative from the VDMA to the board of directors, and I will talk about that later on a little bit more. So what are we doing with OPC Foundation? We believe that there is not one single protocol where you can exchange information from the field with specific requirements for deterministic and so on, up to the cloud, which is mostly driven with MQTT communication today. Field bus systems today, and but also on the other hand, MQTT don't fit into each other's world. So we want to make sure that we are no longer talking about protocols, and we don't want to implement protocols. We want to make sure to exchange standardized information, and these information are exactly defined by domain experts. But then for different purposes, we need different underlying IT infrastructure and underlying protocols to fulfill all these requirements. And these requirements are different inside a factory or a plant compared to vertical communication to cloud systems. And so we have different communication patterns inside client server, pub sub, to fulfill all these requirements. And so OPC can also grow into new fields, and we will learn about that later on. So overall, we are enabling to exchange information vertically, even being able to bypass levels, but also exchange information horizontally. The standardized information are co-developed with partner associations in the world with their domain expertise, and I will talk about these more than 60 information models later on. So just to remind everybody, a lot of people in their brains have that, in their minds have that OPCUA is just the last mile to physical devices which I can touch, to the machine, to the robot, to the RFID reader, and so on. And this is not true. OPCUA has always been an interaction model where you can talk from hardware to software, like SCADA, where OPC, the idea of OPC has born, but also to MAS, ERP level, cloud level, but obviously also different software packages can talk to each other. So OPCUA is really scaling, and with the help of the field level communication initiative, we are even growing down more into the field level, and I will talk about that later on. To remind everybody, OPCUA is an IEC standard. This is really critically important. It's not just open, like an open standard or open source. I mean, open is what nearly everybody is, and mostly they are open for new members. Here, it really means we are fulfilling everything to be a recognized IEC standard with rules where you can trust on and rely on. And this is important for our partners, for collaborations, defining information models. And it's also a pleasure, and we are happy that OPCUA has been selected as a national standard in a lot of countries and regions in the world. And here you see, for example, as one example, that OPC is also a Chinese standard, and the first part has been adapted in the year 2017, and later the other parts in 2018. And this is what I like to add. We are very successfully because we do first always prototyping. So we are publishing something for review, but before we had a prototyping phase where experts really try to make a proof of concept, and everything they figure out during this phase is being updated in the specifications to have a higher quality and a better user experience for the release later on. As mentioned before, there are three pillars. OPCUA as a technology, on the left side, including security, in the middle the modeling for different markets, not only factory automation, also process, also energy, and we have a certification program, which I'm talking a little bit more later on. Let's focus on OPCUA first of all. Definitely, I'm not talking too deep here about security because we have deep security presentations tomorrow, but I like to remind everybody that OPCUA has been designed with OPCUA built in by design, and so security is incorporated to all of the OPCUA levels. This is critical to understand. It's not only on the transport level, a little bit encryption and authentication. It's much more. It's really end-to-end communication. It has roles and role management, user authentication, auditing and certification management infrastructure. We hear on Thursday this week from the CTO, Jim Luce, exactly how can you do discovery for multiple devices, and not only for two devices, a server and a client talking to each other, instead real factory and plant environments where you have multiple dozens, hundreds, thousands devices, and how can you establish security in that reason. OPCUA is also fulfilling the IEC 62443 security concept recommendations. So you can find in the OPC specifications exactly the equivalent concepts to fulfill this IEC standard. Tomorrow also, in addition to Randy Armstrong doing a security presentation, we will also have the BSI presenting their updated analysis. They did the first analysis already in the year 2016, but tomorrow he is providing us an update on the analysis of the year 2022. And so this is definitely critically important. The last statement here is, when OPCUA is integrated by design into the specification, this does not mean automatically that inside the field everything is secure. You have to take care on multiple levels when integrating OPCUA to your device, or when you have it, when you're using the technology in the field, in the factory, to enable security in a recommended way. And this is why we also provide these brochure to give you exactly a good best practice, what you have to do. So I'm not diving here deeper, but I want to give you a short overview. Please listen to Randy Armstrong's presentation from the year 2020. He is talking about the OPC security concepts, but also he's explaining tomorrow what is going on with security, because OPC UA security is always a constant evolution. There are always updates. He's always working with more than the 20 best experts of the OPC Foundation members and external experts to find exactly the best solutions, to be prepared, and if something is found, to answer these in a quick way, to get updates around the world, to inform toolkit vendors and so on. So this is, please join the presentation tomorrow here. Giving you a short update on OPC for the field level communication initiative, the FLC initiative. Tomorrow we also have a presentation by Peter Lutz, the director of the field level communication initiative. This is driven by the industry. We have a huge adoption and involvement and support by leading companies around the world. The 27 companies where you see the logos here are just the companies and the people who started the initiative, who do extra contribution, but there are many more experts really working in the working groups, over 300 people around the globe, bringing all the knowledge together to enable, to extend OPCUA to fulfill all the requirements for the OPC, for the field. And this is about deterministic transport. It's about safety, motion, include I/O operations and instrumentation, obviously. It is not only exchanging information, it's also how can I configure them in an online, offline mode. Mapping on different underlying IT infrastructures. The FLC initiative is not only taking care on let's do it with deterministic and TSN. TSN is just an option, but it first is mapped to UDP to have horizontal data exchange. TSN is an option to provide deterministic later on, but this group is also dealing with the mapping to Ethernet to make use of this technology in Ethernet APL in the process industry, or 5G, where you also can use deterministic transport. I believe it's critically important to mention that we have a great demo which we will show at the Hannover trade show and also at the Automate show in Detroit in begin June this year. Here you see exactly the live demo. You see all of the big brand companies here being involved with communication infrastructure, with controllers or with dashboard. And yeah, Peter Lutz is giving a deeper presentation tomorrow here. Well, if you have noticed, the OPC Foundation started all of these initiatives early. We started a TSN subgroup already in the year 2015. Later on, in the year 2018, February, we released OPCA PubSub as a new communication pattern, which was the base building block that the field level communication group could continue. And this group we have started in the year 2018, and we moved all existing initiatives which have been started earlier, also the safety which has been initiated by the P&O in the year 2017 under the roof of the field level communication initiative. And now we want to do the same with exactly the cloud initiative, because we also started different mechanisms, different initiatives and activities and work groups. For example, the cloud library, where Erich Barnstedt is talking more in detail tomorrow. This has been released in the year 2021 already, or we started last year the Cloud Federation project, and I'm talking more about that. We recently announced that major cloud vendors supported the initiative, but there's much more to do. Think about how do we interact with the asset administration shell? What about digital twins in general? What are about other technologies like Kafka? Do we need a specific mapping? Moving everything under one specific roof, cloud initiative makes definitely sense. So what we want to do is, the goal is to have one harmonized OPCA solution, harmonized between different industries, process automation, factory automation, energy, scaling from field to IT, cloud and back. This is the goal, and you see here logos from major IT companies, and I will talk about that in a second. First of all, what is the cloud initiative? Again, we have the cloud library, we have the cloud federation. We are talking about how to connect assets in the field, in edge, with cloud. So the key word here is OPCUA over MQTT, and obviously we also have a lot of education and starter kits. So let's talk a little bit in more detail. First of all, cloud library, and also how does it fit together with the asset administration shell. This is just, again, this is just a teaser here because we will have a presentation on Thursday by Erich Barnstedt. He initiated this OPCA cloud library. He will talk together and present together with Jonathan Malesser from INRAE about this UA cloud library is up and running. It is released. It's the world's largest library for OPCA-based information models with more than 60 information models. All of them are live, and we even have a commercial offering of this cloud library. So please join that presentation on Thursday. And second, Erich Barnstedt is really so deeply involved in all these Industry 4.0 initiatives in Germany, in different groups inside the OPC Foundation. He knows all about how are things connected to each other and interact with each other. So if you want to learn more about OPCA and the asset administration shell, please join his presentation also on Thursday. Talking about the Cloud Federation, here we have a different challenge. The Cloud Federation is all about how does cloud systems talk to each other once the informations have been transported to the cloud already. Think about a product plant, a factory plant with a lot of machines, and the machines consist of components from different vendors, obviously. So now not only the manufacturer wants to know about the efficiency of the machines, components, also the component sellers, the PLC vendors, the RFID vendors, the motor vendors want to know more insights. How do you organize this? How do you manage this? This is a challenge what we started last year. We had a presentation already last year, because a lot of these manufacturer clouds say we want to have a different scenario. We first want to have all the information in our manufacturing cloud, and then we like to share with other cloud solutions from suppliers or from others. So The group is already working on this. I'm not going here in all the lines, but definitely they had two major work items to solve. One was the verification of the connected clients. So if all the machines and components are pushing data already to the manufacturer cloud, then this manufacturer broker need to be configured. Okay, who is allowed now to consume what kind of information? Who is verified to forward information into another cloud system? And then you have exactly to define these mappings, and all of this has been done already. So the group has done really great success, and this has been handed over to the OPC core team already, and it will somehow be integrated in the part 14 later on. Talking about the next topic here is about OPC in modern industrial environments. Think about you have multiple devices and in a factory, in a plant, and now you want to push data up into a cloud. Obviously, MQTT is a fantastic technology to do that, and we have never, we always loved MQTT, right? Because we are using it, MQTT is part of the OPC pub subspec, which we published in February 2018. But unfortunately, MQTT is payload agnostic, which means there is no definition exactly about the structure and the content of the payload. So just think about, you have different vendors with different PLCs as an example here, and everybody would push information in a different way. You would have multiple additional efforts for always changing, making protocol converters by changing information and converters to convert from one mapping to another mapping. This is inefficient and nobody wants this. So the big question is, who is fulfilling a standard? Should the cloud provider support all the different mappings, what component providers are delivering to the market? Definitely not. And this is great. The big 6 cloud vendors of the world said we are supporting one standard. The one standard is OPC over MQTT, because OPC is giving exactly defining the payload and the mapping. And this is why all of these big brand companies confirmed we are either already supporting this and offering it as a feature in our cloud services, or it's on our technical roadmap and we are working to make it happen and implementing this. So the press release, what we published begin February, has been listed AWS, Google, IBM, Microsoft Azure, Siemens MindSphere, and SAP. Not too bad, right? So we have a demo. This demo is working live already. It would have been shown at the SPS show with Beckhoff and Siemens controllers at the show. At this time, at the Hanover trade show, it will be extended with more devices from KUKA, from Phoenix Contact, from Vago, and multiple more. I just want to mention a few ones here. So please join the booth at the OPC Foundation at the Hanover trade show. If you want to learn more about these success stories, what has been established already, please join the OPC Foundation web. Please go and navigate to resources, materials, success stories. You find multiple stories, exciting stories. This morning, Aspen Krog already reported about his new project, but he was also involved with Equinor moving about 1 million data points being connected to Microsoft Azure. And this is a fantastic story, learning why they did it and why also Equinor defined more information models and made them public. This is really the best for the community, what is existing. But we also are proud to have a second success story from a different market, from discrete manufacturing, where car manufacturer Renault is providing and pushing data into Google Cloud. And they are also using a lot of OPC in their factories. So just download and read that information and that success stories. Sometimes, and again, I ask already here the community, if you have exciting stories, please send me a message. And sometimes I'm smiling because then people send me something and said, Okay, I'm not, honestly, not deeply aware of this technology, so we all maybe have to learn. So this time I got a message from Jason Farmer from Microsoft, and he says, hey, we are working with OPCA on ACRI, which is in combination with Kubernetes. And I thought, okay, we need to learn more about this. What does it mean? But here you see, OPCA is used in the IT world. It is the de facto standard to connect to the OT world from IT, OT, make it happen. So people are playing around with the technology and making real products out of that, which you can use in the future. We should learn more about this and have a dedicated seminar on that one. Talking about the collaborations, this is something what is the core, because exactly OPCA is a promise for secured semantic industrial interoperability, and the semantic has to be standardized by experts. Before I come and list all the different markets, I want to make sure that we have an understanding that whenever we do a cooperation with another partner, we have the same legal framework called MOCA, which it's an acronym for Multiple Organization Collaboration Agreement, which is the IP frame that whatever we do is free, available, free of charge, and that everybody is working on the same IP. So everybody who is implementing and using OPCA-based information models, which are done in cooperation with the OPC Foundation, is aware and is sure that this is under the same IP policies. You see below in the table that we have more than 60 groups, and these groups are defined in different categories, domain categories, and I'm definitely not listing all of them right now, but you see that we are pretty much more in manufacturing. That's true today. And this is exactly because of our key partner VDMA, and because they are running a lot of them. And maybe I have to increase the numbers, because I believe the VDMA last time presented they are running even 30 of these joint working groups. So there's a huge commitment for this area. But remember, the VDMA is not only doing discrete manufacturing, they also have a couple of other groups for pumps, which are also overlapping in the area of process industry. So, giving you a short update on the partners and collaborations here. In 2021 in total, we had 15 companion specifications which have been released. Some news very shortly. Together, the OPC Foundation, together with Fieldchrome Group, we are the owners of PA-DIM. Other organizations ask us to also become a co-owner. They also contributed a lot in the past, and the OPC Foundation is absolutely supporting this. We are ready to sign every momentum, the agreement, and to let others be a co-owner. And we want to be much in a closer contact with Fieldchrome Group to sync on other topics which are key for the process automation world. We agreed with the VDMA to include multiple more of their companion specifications and include them into the OPC Foundation CDT test tool, which is a good preparation for certification. So it's good for validation and later on maybe optional certification for companion specs also. We signed a so-called BOCA, which is Bilateral Organization Collaboration Agreement with the ZVE. This agreement is about that we want to share internal documents as early as possible to avoid any overlapping work. This is critically important, and so with the ZVE we want to run a joint webinar also in June 21-22 about OPCA over 5G. It is about the deterministic transport of OPC information over 5G. It is not just to move data to a telecommunication vendor. It is horizontal deterministic transport. What I have not listed here, but just to let you know, we also signed a BOCA with the Open Group. This is also critically important because also here we want to avoid any kind of overlapping standardization. This is stupid. It does not make any sense. So we want to be sure that the roadmap of the open group, because they are referencing and using and they defined OPCF as their transport technology, is in line with the OPC Foundation and the OPC Foundation FLC initiative. This is key, and we are proud to cooperate here with the open group very closely. We already started the LUTS working group earlier. It is about laboratory and analytical device standard. It is fantastic to see that it has been initially started by Spectaris, and then other organizations joined, the VDMA joined. It has been extended to Japanese, Spain, Netherlands and UK associations, and all of them agree to say this is the gravity center of worldwide information modeling for this laboratory analytical devices, which we want to cooperate and make it a success. I'm so fascinated on this initiative. We will have a dedicated presentation also on Wednesday about this from Matthias Arnold. He together with Heiko Fessenmeier will do a presentation because Heiko is the chair of the new KAISI working group. This is an internal working group where major market leaders, big brand enterprise companies joined the OPC Foundation to sit together on a neutral ground, agree to the IPR policies, write a companion spec, make it open available for the best of the world. And they are working to specialize really on the integrating of analytical instrumentation systems into analytical data systems. So they are very, very close, aligned and cooperating with the LUTS working group. If you want to learn more about that, please join their presentation. Also, as a small teaser for the Wednesday presentation, we are starting a new cooperation on global positioning. So if you want to learn what is X, Y, Z as a location, as a global positioning, this has been initiated by the association called OMLOGS. They are running under and hosted under P&O together with AIM-D. AIM is the standardization organization for auto ID devices, and the OPC Foundation. And one more, we will start a new joint working group about energy consumption. This has been initiated by the P&O. The P&O has an own spec on energy, Profi energy, but they thought why not work together with the OPC Foundation to make it more general, more broader, that it scales up into the IT world. And so I'm happy that we also could win the ODVA, who's interested to join and contribute here, and the VDMA, because all of this should go and will go down into the UA for machinery, which I'm talking in a minute about. This energy consumption is definitely an interface where I personally believe that we could and we should also cooperate much more with the IT-driven world, because energy consumption is something what on the one hand is deeply involved and integrated into assets, but on the other hand you need these information also in cloud systems, in digital twins, and it would be a disaster just to start from scratch again to think about how do we organize the information, what are the units and so on. We should avoid any kind of double standardization here. We should always reference to what is existing, what has been done by domain experts, and maybe add missing information which is coming from different use cases. So I'm definitely looking forward. In general, what I learned as the result of this morning's presentations from the 3 keynote speakers here, we will have many more of energy-related information models in future. Talking about the VDMA shortly with 2 slides, or with 1 slide here, VDMA is not only running about 30+ companion specification in the area of discrete, mostly discrete manufacturing, but also others. like pumps and motors, what I mentioned before, they also early realized the big efforts of harmonization. Same as the OPC Foundation, where we as the OPC Foundation have a harmonization group under the lead of Dr. Wolfgang Mahnke. Also the VDMA has a harmonization group, and they are closely working with each other. The idea is to avoid again any kind of double standardization of information. A robot has an energy interface, an injection molding machine also has an energy interface. It should be the same if possible. And this is just one example. There are multiple more examples where you get more insights also tomorrow, where on Wednesday, where Dr. Mahnke has a presentation being the lead of these harmonization efforts. Part of this OPCUA for machinery is exactly the harmonization and having these building blocks exactly dealing with the topics identification, machine status, job management, and much more is coming, like energy management, what I mentioned before, but also a scheduler for actions where you want to schedule activities. For example, I want to switch off light or down, decrease a little bit the heating temperature in my buildings. So something what we also learned from the BACnet area. Okay, talking about certification, I just want to mention that we have a certification program. Obviously, I mentioned it's open also for non-paying OPC members. You have to pay your daily fee. Members get a discount for sure. But we also provide the OPC CTT tool, which provides more than 1,800 test scripts. Not only tests the functionality of OPCUA servers and clients, but also more and more checking and validating, is your information model correctly available in your device? Is the instance of the information model correctly addressable, and so on. So this is definitely very high value. We want to cooperate also much more closer to other standardization organizations on the level of certification. I truly believe that in future we will have more and more so-called hybrid products where, for example, a product is supporting a specific field bus system for deterministic exchange on the south port, but on the north port today they are using OPCUA. Or in future, when the Field Level Communication Initiative has released the horizontal controller-to-controller communication and OPCUA safety, also this should be certified. So if a device vendor has to go to multiple labs to certify multiple technologies, this is high effort, and we want to cooperate with other standardization organizations. We want to reduce the efforts and cost for our members. We don't want to earn money with certification. The reason to do certification is increase quality and the stability for the insurance of the quality in the field. This is exactly the aim of certification. So we are already working together here with a couple of organizations. We had first meetings, and I'm really looking forward that we will fulfill this. The next short teaser is about an upcoming new product catalog where you have much more filters, where you can see exactly, I'm looking for a specific asset, could be a device, could be a machine, could be a software service, but this asset should support a specific OPCUA functionality, a specific profile. For example, like, I'm looking only for PLCs which are providing OPCUA over MQTT because I want to have this standard and not a standard designed on a proprietary mapping to MQTT. Or you want to have exactly devices which are supporting OPCUA safety, and you have understood the story this is going on. So we started this last year. We will have this live and upcoming soon, very soon this year, and you will see press activities on this later this year. What is coming on up also in this year, give you a very short update. Activities, we provided an OPCUA IIoT starter kit. This shows how easy OPCUA is. OPCUA is not complicated if you just start and want to get an impression. Just download the image here from the OPC Foundation web, from GitHub, just put it on a Raspberry Pi, and immediately with less than 1 hour you're connected. We are providing today 3 different use cases to push OPCUA over MQTT data into a broker and from there to other systems. That's easy. Also, other toolkit vendors provide you ramp up starter kits with demo software, or also even based on Raspberry Pi platform. So OPCUA at the begin is not that complicated. Just play around, just start. Definitely because of the super rich feature set, it is becoming a little bit more complicated, but then you have really complicated systems, and then you have to deal with these technologies. How can I do discovery in a factory floor where I have 5,000 devices? This is no longer just, oh, I have here a simple protocol and it's a little bit more efficient because the payload is just 200 bytes and hey, OPC has 300 bytes. This is peanut. This is a stupid discussion because OPCUA has much other mechanisms built in to save the bandwidth in a factory by just sending data when the value has changed, or when the value has changed just by 3%, or do callbacks and so on. So overall, how much your network and your bandwidth is used is calculated on multiple more parameters and not only on one message. The next one, we are educating the world and helping to educate them. We are providing a so-called OPCUA academic program with over 260 slides in different areas on the architecture, on security, on modeling capabilities. This is a slide deck which is even recorded and explained that professors who are using this for their academic, non-commercial use can take over all of the content, whatever they like. They can select some pieces, they can select a graphic, they can extend it with their own local given industries. So this is definitely a fantastic program. We are already with partners translating slides to make them available in other languages. For example, in Chinese, it's nearly done, and we will hear much more of this also the next years. Friendly invitation to join the OPC Foundation at the Hannover Messe upcoming end of this month. It is again the largest booth we ever had with 255 square meters. We are showing everything. We have a huge area for the OPCUA for Field Initiative, Field Level Communication Initiative. We have this huge demos with horizontal communication, with OPCUA safety. We have experts on the booth. We have a dedicated cloud area where we show exactly all the devices, pushing live data into different cloud systems. We have experts talking about the cloud library, Cloud Federation. We have an OPC core expert team being available to answer all of your questions on the OPCUA core technology, and we have a collaboration corner where we have a lot of partners showing what they did with OPC, what is their status on information modeling. We have multiple partners and sponsors here on the booth, what you see on the slides. We also have a demo from LNI, and the FTT group is also joining our booth as an association partner here. Plus we do multiple presentations on the Industry 4.0 stage, and we have the so-called World Interoperability Conference. And if press people here are online, please join our press conference, which is on the second day about lunchtime. Talking about the World Interoperability Conference, it's the second edition. Please join this, it's on the first day. We have fantastic speakers talking exactly about the first experience on implementing an asset administration shell based on the OPCUA technology out of the automotive space, but also IT companies talking and discussing about why OPCA over MQTT makes sense, what is the status, what is the roadmap. This is a fantastic conference and you should not miss this. It's free of charge, just go to the OPC Foundation web and register soon. To give you a short update, I will not read it line by line, but obviously the OPC Foundation is doing many more events around the globe in this year. It is pretty packed, as you see. Because of the pandemic, nothing happened in the first quarter. Everything has been moved into the second and third quarter. So after Hannover Trade Show, we are heating over with a huge team and we will be in Detroit. Also the OPC FLC demonstrator and the cloud demonstrator will be at the Automate in Detroit. All experts, Peter Lutz, Mike Clark, the director in North America will be there, Alexander Almendinger and myself will be in Detroit. But part of us are also heading over then to Orlando to the ASC forum. You see, we are super passionate and committed and we try to get in contact with you wherever you are, also in Asia regions with other events. If you are looking for more information, please go to our OPC Foundation web. You find a lot of information. I already mentioned under material, the success stories, but maybe you also want to listen and read to the ebooks, which is a comprehensive overview on a lot of articles, what we had on the technology, on collaborations, on applications, on success stories. Definitely you will find interesting articles in that ebooks. Or you just want to listen to our podcast. It's fantastic to learn about different scenarios. One thing what I was really impressive was the podcast from our CTO, Jim Luce, who said, sometimes we have to take care that we don't believe we, the OPC Foundation and the technology OPCA is like a hammer and everything around us is just a nail and we can solve everything. So no, we can't. But what we want is we want to cooperate with other organizations, because I truly believe only with cooperation and working together and sharing information and doing the best for the industry, we all can have the benefits here of this cooperative work. So please join and listen to that podcast series. My last slide is, I believe that the OPC Foundation is providing all the important building blocks, which are critically important for your business solutions in the future. It doesn't matter if on the left side we are talking more on discrete manufacturing, on the right side we are talking more about process industry, or we are talking about energy more and more in the future. At the end there are similar and same building blocks. It is on the one hand the OPCA technology, the framework with offerings exactly for the information modeling, for semantics, for the security and connectivity in different scenarios. We have the world's largest community for industrial interoperability with more than 860 members, including the field level initiative, industry driven, not only doing a mapping to TSN, but instead taking care on underlying infrastructure which can be extended and used by OPCA. TSN for deterministic, also safety, also motion, but also using Ethernet APL for the process industry. Ethernet APL for us, for the OPC Foundation, is fantastic because it's opening and enabling the communication from the edge down to the devices, to the field level in the area of process automation. And so in future, definitely you are plugging in your flow meter, the flow meter is booting and is sharing standardized information out of the flow meter based on OPCA and OPCA over MQTT. And definitely then the last building block on information models, standardized information defined by domain experts, harmonized with others to not reinvent the wheel always and to find a solution to only have one information model for a dedicated purpose. What is missing a little bit in the graphic, and I have to add this, is also the cloud initiative, adding exactly what we mentioned with the digital twin, the cloud library, cloud federation, and multiple more solutions in the future.